right, everybody, what's going on? The very first episode of Ball Talk with my boy Big Papi and yours truly.
Thank you.
So this is our very first episode. It's kind of funny because we had just met. We had just met like
Yeah,
a few days ago, maybe a week ago. I don't know. Uh,
no, it was a few days ago.
Days
Actually.
ago, right?
It
But
wasn't Sunday, actually. It wasn't Sunday. Not
Sunday,
Sunday.
okay. So it hasn't
Man,
even been a week yet,
I've seen him here.
and here we are making a podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy sometimes how how life works. Just met somebody online. You was just on my stream because I got a raid. We just talking. I see you went from Germany. I'm in Germany right now, everybody. So that's why it's a little darker here. Don't worry about it. So yeah, and then we just click. Pretty much, we just click.
That's
It was just right away.
That's exactly right. We had like I felt the connection. Like for like he said, he was so Big Papi is a MLB The Show streamer, and we'll get into that pretty soon here. But
Okay, yeah,
since
sure.
I don't even want to call this episode 1, this is like episode 0.5. Like because this is like the very first one. We'll see how it goes. We're probably gonna have to iron out some kinks, but basically the story goes: Big Papi was streaming MLB The Show. Big hype. The game just came out this week. Everybody's on it. It's a great game. We'll talk more about this. Our
Sure.
our common buddy Daniel Freak, who we got to shout out here because he's the one that brought us together in a sense.
Yes,
Um,
he was.
he ended up raiding Big Papi, and I came into his stream, and then before you knew it, we had all these things in common. We both love baseball. I am from Germany. Big Papi is not from Germany, but Big Papi lives in Germany now, and I'm from there, but I don't live there now. I live in the States, so it's kind of a weird dynamic, right?
It's actually funny at the same time too.
I know. And so it's like that's what struck the conversation between us. So I hung out
Yeah.
in his channel for hours that day, and I really liked his vibes, and he was just really welcoming. And so we started talking. We started talking about the game. Then I streamed. He came into my stream, and it's only been 5 days, but we're like, hey, you want to do a podcast?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'd love to do a podcast.
it just came out of the blue. I just text. No, I came to your you were streaming a few days ago and said, "Yo, you want to do a podcast, man? Just two dudes who love baseball and we love the video game too, and baseball in real life, of course, we do." And it was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Why not? We just gotta set everything up and talk about it, and we can do it." And people, here we are.
And here we are. Here we are. So Big Papi, tell me about your baseball background and like your love for baseball, because I think we've talked a little bit off air, but I think it's going to be very interesting because like your journey to the game was different than my journey to the game, but somehow here we are, right? So like talk a little bit about
Yeah.
how you
Wow,
fell
man.
in love with the
It all
game.
started, I was around 5 years old. I
Okay.
remember that, I'm from Cuba. So, Cuba is really a big baseball country, like Germany soccer. We definitely a big baseball country. And everybody in Cuba play baseball. That's a main sport right there where everybody live and breathe. You got hardcore fans playing baseball. So my family wasn't a big baseball family, actually. At least not my dad's side. My mom's side, you got my grandma. She was definitely a baseball fan. And my aunt was also a baseball fan. But my mom never was a baseball fan. She never liked it. She never understood baseball anyway. But I love it. I don't know how. I just fell in love with it. Well, I remember I was like 5 years old, maybe 6. I was with my buddies in the neighborhood, and we just play with a stick and some sock on it. We just tape it, and that was the ball right there.
Yeah.
It was like
Yep.
it was 1995, 96. You had like back in Cuba right then. You didn't have like the real baseball. You can just get a baseball bat. You didn't have it. So we just had to improve and do it with whatever we have. And I just fell in love with it. I remember smashing windows. We really broke windows out there. Yes, we actually were banned to play baseball around any window. So we actually go to for like a shirt. It was a big shirt out there, and we actually got banned from there because we almost broke a few windows too. So my mom really like got tired of me playing in the neighborhood and say, "Okay, you know what? We're going to make a deal." I was in first grade. He said, "If you learn how to read and write, I'm going to take you to a baseball camp and let's see what happens. If you like it, if you make it, I actually going to take you there every day." I like say no more deal. I'm
Yeah.
going to do it. In less than a week, I started writing and reading. I know how it happens. It's just happening,
It's
you
funny
know.
how that
And
works.
it's funny how when you really want to do something, you actually, go, even as a kid, you actually go, okay, I'm gonna do it, and I did it.
Yeah.
And she actually did her work. She actually took me there to a baseball camp. I remember, it was there. The coach said, okay, just play the bat and hit and see what happens. I just hit the bat. I didn't have any training. I was like 5, 6 years old, so I
Sure.
was okay. I wasn't a little. It was, the big puppy name just come for something, but it wasn't. I wasn't just like a 5-year-old regular kid. I was a little bit,
Bit-
tall and a little bit short, so it
Yeah.
was definitely different. And then it just happened. I just went there, boom, and the rest pretty much is history. I played for 10 years.
Wow.
Totally until I was 15. I made a few national baseball team in Cuba,
Wow.
14 and 15 too.
So you're
Play
playing at a high level.
I
Pretty
play a high level.
high
Yeah, I
level.
play a high level. I used to be a pitcher too,
Hmm.
and so unfortunately I got Tommy John's. Well,
Hmm.
back then people didn't know what Tommy John was. Now I kind of know, but back then it was just an elbow injury,
Yeah.
and that injury just cost me pretty much my whole career.
Wow. So let me ask
I,
you this: what were your main pitches? What was your repertoire?
back then we were just actually like fastball and changeup
Hmm.
because you are not allowed to throw like a slider, curveball exactly for that because you can get elbow injury.
Yeah.
So we just throw pretty much fastball and change. I used to throw really hard. I'm gonna say that. Just my control wasn't that good. So
Hmm.
pretty much, if I had a good day, I was just throwing right down the middle and in the spot.
But
If
it
I had
was,
a bad day,
but you were throwing hard. They probably can't catch up to that.
yeah, it was throwing hard, but the problem is I wasn't just throwing the sun. I was wild.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pretty much if people know that. I'll say, okay, let's just wait. And pretty much I did it a few times. I could easily load the bases and just base on ball. I remember I did like a lot of times and then just get 1, 2, 3 the next batter.
Wow.
It was it was always like that. And my coach guy was sometimes angry at me in the first inning. Base loaders, nobody out, 3 base on ball. Like, ah damn it, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I don't know. Let's just try and see what happened. The next 3 batters, 1, 2, 3. So it was always the first, second inning who was a little bit trouble for me to
Mm,
get out of there because maybe I was a little nervous. See what happened with the
sure.
opponent, what he's doing. And we were sometimes with the home team. So when you're the home team, sometimes you have to pitch first, and then it's always. I was just a kid. I was a little nervous sometimes.
Of course. Ah, of course. It's I
Uh,
mean, baseball of all the sports, like you think of all the other sports, like that one as the pitcher, like you are it's just you out there, man. Like it's just you out there. And it's intimidating, right? Like
yeah,
and even though it's yes, you against just one other guy, essentially, it's not. It
mhm.
feels like it's you against the world, right? When you're out there.
Yeah, that's why you're exactly in the middle of the field, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then you got your parents, or maybe it's your mom there, your dad, and then you got the other parents for the other team and the parent for your team, and
Right.
everybody's looking at you.
Yep.
And if people have watched maybe some Latino baseball, like Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or whatever it is, they are different than in America. The
Sure.
parents are screaming at you like, "Yo, come on, let's go!" And
Yeah.
you get home, and as a kid, sometimes you get nervous and you be like, "Oh my God, no!" And then you
Mm.
start, like, you get shy on the mound and you start throwing wild, and you just don't want to be there. You be like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm gonna be here."
It's
And baseball in Cuba is a passion, man. It's
yeah.
really, really a passion. People love it, and that's what happens sometimes when people, baseball players from Cuba, go to the United States or maybe from any other Latin America country. They go and they get a little bit excited and they show like feelings and they show emotions, like people say. And people in the United States get a little angry. They're like, they're not doing this respectfully. They're just doing the way they got taught
It's
as a kid.
it's like in the blood, you know?
It's in
It's in the
it's in the
blood.
blood.
I mean, you don't
You just can't stop it. I used to do the same as a kid. Maybe now no, because I'm just a man. I'm a little old now. But as a kid, yes, I used to do. I used to pump my shirt and yes, fuck, I
yeah.
did. Let's go. And this is the emotion. It's nothing disrespectful. It's just an emotion that we have. And it's always as a kid. And that's what exactly what you get.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I know lately in the last few years, people have, especially here in the States, they've talked a lot about that. Like, the like disrespecting the game and stuff like that. To me, I look at other sports and I know like baseball is different from any other sport. But
Yes.
like you were just saying, certain things are similar. Like soccer, the passion people have for the game of soccer,
Yeah, yeah.
why should baseball players not show that
Not
type of when you
Mhm.
score a goal in soccer in the World Cup or something, you take your shirt off, you go crazy. Um,
Yeah, like
you should, because I mean that's a big accomplishment, right? If you hit a walk off homer, or you go 1, 2, 3 to close out a 1 run game, you should be pumped. You know what I mean?
you should.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not disrespectful. It's just like I'm pumped because of what I just did. It's not like, hey, screw you. I just hit a dinger off of
Exactly.
you.
I'm just showing my emotions, and
Yeah,
people can take that a little disrespectful. It's not. It's just the way we used to play the game as a kid,
sure.
and it's always gonna say that if you learn something as a kid and you always do it, you always gonna keep doing until like the end, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
so the way you fell in love with the game is so much different from
How do you
me.
fall in love with the game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so with me, I'm where you are now growing up. I'm 6 years old, 7 years old in Germany. There's nothing but soccer, right? It's soccer, soccer, soccer. And similarly to you, I played at a pretty high level soccer in Germany. The city I'm from, it's very,
No,
very rich in soccer culture and all that. And so it's almost like and you can probably relate to this growing up in Cuba with baseball, how passionate people are. You almost feel like a pressure, like you have to be playing good, or
has
like
to be.
you have, so I grew up with that soccer, soccer, soccer my whole life. And then I was 17 when I moved to the United States. And
Mhm.
I actually tried out for a semi-professional soccer team. I ended up getting cut in the preseason, so I never made it. And after that, I went away from soccer because it was like too much soccer all my life. I was like, I'm in a new country. I want to learn what they do here. And so I got really into basketball and football at the time, just
Okay.
watching it stuff. Basketball I played quite a bit, but football obviously not, when you're, not in school, and you don't play football really. Um, so now fast forward a few years, and I lived in Portland all this time. They didn't really have a baseball team. They had like AAA for a while, minor league, but
Mhm.
it's not very big there. So fast forward a few years, and I moved to Oakland, California. And so now, and the time I moved there was right around the time when Barry Bonds was chasing the home run record in San
2001.
Francisco. Yeah. And so that was really big in the Bay Area, right? So you got not only you don't now just have the Giants, you have the A's. They play like 10 miles apart from each other. And Barry Bonds is chasing the home run record. So it's on the radio, it's on the TV, it's everywhere, right? So now I'm like, okay, I'm getting interested in this. And so I started watching it on TV, and I didn't understand the game at all, really, because like I said, in Germany, baseball is not a thing. So I didn't understand it, but I started watching it, and I started paying attention, and then I started watching, the pre-game shows, the post-game shows, and then you start listening to sports radio and stuff. So I got like really into it, like a nerd almost. Like I got really into the statistics and the numbers, and I got really into like why do you throw a slider on this particular count versus a fastball, or why do you throw a ball rather than a strike? Like things like that, like getting behind in counts, getting ahead in counts, and all these different like little nuances to the game that is all new to me, but I really got into it. So I started going to the Ace games, um particularly because, let's face it, they don't draw a lot of fans in Oakland. It's just always been that the stadium's not the prettiest. It's very cheap to go to a game. You can go for on a Tuesday night, you can go for $5 and get in there, and you can pretty much sit anywhere you want. So when I was there, I was single at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend. I would go to the games, and I would just sit there in the bleachers, and I would actually have a scorecard, and I'd take score. And like I really fell in love with like the not just the game, but like the culture around baseball. You know what I mean? Like the whole kind of everything, like the sunflower seeds, and just like the fans. Like we had. There's not a lot of fans in Oakland, but the fans that are there, they're really hardcore. They really understand baseball. They know all their players. They know all the opposing players. They know everything. So I started kind of hanging with them, and like and learning more and more and more about the game. And then honestly, which is what we're gonna get into next year, MLB The Show is another reason. I've always been a gamer. I've always been a sports gamer,
Always,
like
yeah,
you too. And so I started playing MLB The Show, and now I'm like duplicating the things that I'm seeing in real life, right, in the game, and I'm like, so I got really like hooked, like really hooked on it for a good like 5 year stretch. I would say from 2008 to 2013, I was really like hardcore. It was like it was all I would watch. It's all I would, you know. And it's funny because I had never played the game. I just never had played the game because of just circumstances and where I grew up and where I came from and stuff. But I fell in love with it then, and it's kind of transition. I'm still in love with the game. Obviously, now I've recently moved, so I'm no longer in Oakland, but I'm still an A's fan. Um,
Yeah, I see the shirt though.
exactly. Always got to rock some A's gear.
Oh man, like I said, I always been a gamer too. My first ever console was a creation. So
Mhm,
I'm talking like back in the 90s.
right.
If young people see this right now, say, "What's a creation?" That was a little console you had used to plug to the TV with the two cable, and then you used to play and game. It was gaming time right there. And I
Right.
remember I was like one of the few guys in my neighborhood who had it,
Mhm.
and my house used to get full of people like me, like kids, young kids. We all old men now, but it used to get full of people. And my mom used to come from work around 4 or 5, and she would see like 8, 9 people watching and playing at the same time. Yo, okay, we can play baseball at the time. We can play any game. And I
Right.
remember the first game I ever have or baseball game was the Ken Griffey Jr.
Yes.
It was like the 99, 98, 96, something like that. It was definitely a Ken Griffey Jr. game. I don't know which year it was, but I know it was a Ken Griffey Jr. I don't remember if it was in the creation or a family console. I don't know which one. I know it was a Ken Griffey.
Yeah.
But maybe it was Super Nintendo, maybe.
Okay.
It was Super Nintendo, I believe. And I remember playing that game. I love it. And Ken Griffey in that game was the best player.
Of
You
course.
couldn't and hitting home run every time. It was impossible to pitch to Ken Griffey in that game. That game. And I remember I just love gaming. Since my whole life I love
Yeah.
gaming. Then all the baseball game came out, and then the show came out in 2005, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, 05 or 06. I think it was 05, and it was
Oh, five.
MLB The Show 2006 or something, right? But it came out in 05. Yeah.
So and then it was. I remember I was a little old. Of course, we didn't have internet back then in Cuba, and you used to play offline. I don't
Mhm.
know if they have online game more, probably they have, but we had offline for us in Cuba because you didn't have internet because of the situation. So I remember I had a friend of mine who was still a friend of me, and we used to play online. I
Mhm.
used to rent because I didn't have at the time a PlayStation 2, I believe. And I used to rent that for the whole night. And we used to actually go to my room and play the whole night from like 10 p.m. until like 8 a.m. non-stop baseball. And there was like 2, 3 times a week we doing it.
Mhm.
Sometimes he would rent and go to my house. Sometimes I would rent and go to a house. So it was like always we were always fighting and playing who was the best. And then I started meeting other people who were also playing the game. We said, we at the end we had like 20 people actually, like a league
Wow.
from with notes, with writing stats, everything. It was like we're gonna do this and we'll see who the best is. I never won the competition. I wasn't the best, but it was really fun to do. It was the thing as a kid that you don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
forget that it's just priceless. You just put a price on. You
Yeah.
just don't forget about it. And then as I played a bit of show, 05, 06, 07, then I came to Germany in 2008, and I stopped it for a little bit. Not because I didn't want to watch it or play it, just because it's
Life.
a new country. Life, exactly, life. Just
Mhm.
life. You have to learn the language. You have to be like go to school and to things. And I didn't have time for it. And then around 2013, 14, start playing it again
Mhm.
on PlayStation 3. And I just got getting into a rhythm, and I start, okay, this is different than what last time I played for sure, for like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
I would definitely go and play again. And then since then, I've just been playing the game every single year,
Nice.
non-stop.
Nice.
Sometimes I do stop at the end of the year, December, maybe take a few weeks off to
Sure.
just get back on it again. And
Yeah.
then into like February, March, I just play a little bit just to keep it going, but just not like the first few months. Like now, like right now, I'm just actually trying to grind and all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
definitely we play on it.
That's awesome. I mean, I've played the show since '06 myself. It was it was a lot different then than now, obviously, right? It's crazy to think it's been 15 years, like 15 years. But I would say it's always been a great game, always. Like even the
Oh,
first one was great. Road to the Show was always in the beginning, like '06, '07, '08, '09. That was like the main game mode. That was I don't think they even had Diamond Dynasty at that point. That
no,
probably, right? That
Dynasty came around 15.
14,
Came
15.
15.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, it
And
came
remember,
15.
it was really bare bones. Like there wasn't a lot to
Oh,
do,
yeah.
right? It was,
I remember exactly. It was only 30 legends. Well, so you finish each team and you get one legend for each team.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I remember that because Boston was Ted Williams, so it was like a side. I
yeah,
was being a Boston fan, so it was Ted Williams. I remember, okay, this it, that's it,
yeah.
nothing else. And then 16 I get a little bit better, 17 and 18 was okay, this is
Hmm.
better, 19 was okay, amazing. Last year was all time, and this year let's see what happens.
Yeah. 19 was it 20 or no 19 was like wow, that was the honestly MLB The Show 19 2 years ago was the game I probably put like over 1,000 hours into it, like, and all in Diamond Dynasty. And last year I played it, I played it really heavy the first 2 3 months it came out, and then I kind of went away from it just for many reasons, life, like you were saying, and so
Yeah,
I went away from it. But I know it was an amazing year last year, and this year I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back into it. I gotta tell you right now, like I feel like this is my maybe an all time, because the content they have in the game is like
amazing.
unbelievable.
It's
It
amazing.
is unbelievable. They have literally something for everyone, right? Like you don't like playing online against people, okay, do this, and you can still play this game mode, right? Um, of all the card collecting sports games, they don't. A lot of them don't have that, where you can actually, let's say you don't like playing online at all, or let's say you don't, you really you got a just kind of a bad internet connection, whatever, you just want to play offline, you don't want to play in real time against anybody, you can legit play this game for 12 months or like all throughout the entire baseball season, offline, and still probably have content left that you haven't
Oh
finished
yeah,
yet.
definitely. I
So
never, like I said, I never finished the whole content the whole year because there is too much to do. And
mhm.
then you get on the first few days or when the content comes out, and you just say, okay, I'm gonna do it just later or do it next week. You're never gonna get back to it again because next week's coming like 2 or 3 guys after
Yeah,
that, and then it's so on so, and you're never gonna get after the content if you just leave it out like, okay, I'm not gonna do it, just whatever.
it's so
It won't
true. It's
happen.
so true.
Yeah,
So
and one point, I'm sorry,
no,
one
go
point
ahead.
about content last year. Hands out, amazing. The best content they had ever put out there last year. 20 was amazing content. Gameplay, we can talk about it, of course, but content wise, it was amazing. I
Mhm.
say, props to the whole San Diego studio developer. That was just one of the best content ever, and we also had the COVID last year.
Right.
So that was really hard to put the content and while you be in quarantine or working from home. So that was really hard to do it. That's great shout out for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're right. You're right. That they had to. That was probably a big adjustment for like everybody, right? But a big
Def-
company like that, and they probably had to send everybody home, quarantine, and to still be able to do content that's like time sensitive, right? Like you have
def-
stuff that's sort of time sensitive, like whatever, like headliners and prospect cards and stuff. Those are cards that like aren't in the works 3 years ago. Like they
no,
do those like kind of as a year
we,
goes. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's true. That's kudos to them. I mean, they've been great from the start. I love everything they do. Really, if all the sports game developers that we have left, there aren't a lot. I feel like the other companies can really take a page out of their book, because
oh
they
yeah,
they show you how a game mode like that doesn't feel pay to play or pay to win. You can pay, and you can't. Obviously, they make a lot of money with people buying
of
packs.
course,
And
of
that
course.
and you but you know what? I'm totally cool with that, because they give you so much other stuff that tells you, "Hey, if you want to spend some money, that's fine. But if not, that's cool too. Here's this, in a way, what I really like is some of the best player cards in Diamond Dynasty are the ones you cannot just you can't get through packs. Like you can't buy a bundle and get the. It's usually it's usually cards that you really have to grind for, and those are usually like the best cards in the game. So that's really cool in my opinion. Um,
It is.
you
It
know,
is. Like I say, EA definitely needs to take a page of MLB The Show and say, okay, we need to stop this, and 2K2, because I used to play 2K2, and it's definitely pay to win.
yeah,
And the show, like you say, you can pay if you want to, but you don't have to.
yeah,
You have to. The only thing you have to spend on the game is time.
yeah, yeah,
You just grind the game to you. You're gonna get everybody. You just
yeah,
grind the game and work the market. That's it, pretty much.
yeah.
It sounds easy to say, but it's hard. But you can do it.
And you know what though? There's something to be said about that because it kind of ties back into like just life and how life works. You have to
Yeah,
anything in life you want to get, you got to work for, right? And so
pretty much.
I will tell you this, like when I grind Conquest or something, yeah, it gets a little like mundane after a while and you're like, okay, okay, okay. But you know what though? When you get to that finish line, like I feel much more accomplished that I did that
Yeah,
compared to if I just put my credit card out and bought it. You know what I mean?
definitely. I definitely know what you mean. That
Hmm.
was me last year with completing the collection. I just did a little late than everybody, maybe like around July, maybe. So okay, pretty much everybody did it, day one. I didn't put no money on the game. I never put money on the game except for just buying the game.
Yeah,
You know, that's it. That's the only money I put into the game. Other than that, I put just time. I
yeah,
put maybe 50, 60 days of 1 year just playing that game. So there's a
right.
lot of time, and that's what I did last year. I just grind everybody. And by the end, I had like 7, 8 million stops left, which I still have on the other account.
Wow.
And everybody on the team, and there was definitely no money spent. It takes time. Definitely. Yes, it takes. It takes time. Just work the market and just flip and just put hours and hours and hours. But at the end, you see, okay, this is cool. I can have everybody right now.
Yeah,
Most the amazing thing from San Diego Studio, they actually give you the chance to, okay, you don't have to pay us anything, just grind the game.
yeah,
That's what they want, just grind the game. If
yeah,
you want to buy jobs, that's up to you. We don't say you have to. You just can't spend the game and play it.
yeah. I love that. So let's talk about the new features, like everything that's new this year specifically. The big one, cross-platform, right? That's like
Amazing,
that's
amazing.
to me personally. Let me tell me what you think. But to me, it was like shocking when I saw. First of all, it was shocking to me when I saw the announcement it was going to be on Xbox. That was like wow. And then furthermore, when they announced that it was going to be on Game Pass for free, anybody that had Game Pass, I was like again shocked by it. Um I've heard some reasons why Sony put it on Xbox, but I don't know if any of them are true. We don't even really need to talk about that, but like to me it's great. Like because at the end result like for the gamers, it's great, right? Overall for gaming, what do you think about it?
Oh, for like I said, for the gamer, it's great, and also for the content creator.
Mm,
It's amazing. So, because you also got people coming from the Xbox series, whatever they call it. You got a lot of people calling, like millions of people coming out there. They might don't play baseball, but if they see the game for free, they'll say, "Hey, let me try the game."
mhm,
What is it? But it's just for free. We can see what happens
sure.
on it. And if people actually comes to it, and you can see it actually as a content creator, YouTuber, and Twitch streamer, both I definitely see it. I was before the game came out. Actually, I was around 250 followers on Twitch, and 3 days after I streamed the game for like 12 hours, maybe I went from 200 to 1,200 followers in just three
Wow.
days.
Wow, that's huge.
And that was just people following me. I'm like, people follow me actually, like they
Wow.
like it. They're like, okay, and that was great to do it.
That's
And
huge.
just not for me, for also for the YouTubers who they actually, put content, great content out there. The guys who, been playing the game for like forever, and they actually see like, wow, this is amazing, because not only you can actually teach the PlayStation people something, also the Xbox game
Yeah.
people, you actually come and see, oh wow, I like this guy. This is something different than what we also used to play, And Xbox never had a baseball game. Let's
Right.
be honest. Nobody plays RBI on Xbox.
No. Now I will give a shout out to Super Mega Baseball. That's a great game.
That game, yeah, I hear.
But but I'm with you. If you're a real baseball guy, it doesn't hit the it doesn't hit like a real authentic MLB experience, right? Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to be rude with the people working on RBI or something, but it's just not a baseball game you want to have on Xbox. So the Xbox player now, they see the show, they see all the things they have on the show right now. I see, wow, this is a baseball game.
Mm.
You know, all the graphics, the thing you have to do, all the features on the game. It's like, wow, I'm definitely going to play this game. You know,
Yeah.
give it a few months. That's just spending on the game. So this time you can actually go on Twitch and find somebody you like, or maybe you don't know. I've been seeing a lot of people coming to the studio and say, oh, hey, man, I don't know what BR is, you know, the Battle Royale is. Well, you know, BR is this, and that. We can explain to them.
Yeah.
You know, first time playing this game this year.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's and like you said, shout out to all the big time content creators, right? That are like getting the billions of views, but they're doing, I've noticed a lot of videos that have come out from a lot of those guys is explaining modes, explaining new features in the game. And you know, because you followed Kooks, for example, you followed Kooks for 3 years now, you know that he knows how to, how to draft a team or something. But he'll put out a video saying, "Hey, this is how Battle Royale works, or the five best hitters in the game, or like." So people like you were saying, like, I know Freddie Freeman has a sweet swing, and I know Ken Griffey. Every Ken Griffey card they've ever brought out has.
That's my card.
I don't care if it's a bronze Ken Griffey when he was like in middle school. They could put that card, and he will have the sweet swing. But people from Xbox, they don't know that because they haven't really paid attention to the game. So it's kind of nice to see the content creators like kind of take a couple steps back and like kind of reintroduce everybody. Hey, this is how you do this. This is what this is about, and then like guys like you who stream, who are really passionate about the game, and you'll have like some random people coming in that are same thing. They'll ask, what is PR? What does that stand for? Or you explain it to them. It's great.
I mean, if they ask me how you play franchise, I'm sorry, I never play franchise. I just pretty much I'm a Diamond Dynasty guy, pretty much.
Sure.
And so sometimes I can play Road to the Show now because we can actually use some guys on Diamond Dynasty. So I kind of do it, but pretty much I play Diamond Dynasty straight up. I used to play now, but also the friend I have, I was trying to get him to play Diamond Dynasty, but he just don't like it, so he just play now. So pretty much my game is Diamond Dynasty.
Yeah.
And most of API, I play run season events, all those what in Diamond Dynasty is pretty much what I know about it,
And it's so much. It's like you don't have to go to any other game mode, and it's overwhelming. But okay, so that's cross-platform. That's amazing. I mean, honestly, I've always been since the PS3, I have exclusively stuck with Sony because of MLB The Show. I mean, it was really like the main number one reason why I stuck with Sony over Xbox. I never had a reason to go to Xbox because I always liked PlayStation products, but MLB The Show always put it like, that was the reason. Like, oh yeah, I have to buy a PlayStation because of MLB The Show. Like, I'm not gonna play MLB The Show, right? So I had to always. So now it's kind of cool. Like you can make that decision, based on what console you like more, whatnot. People are always really passionate about that. I've never been super like, I'm not like, oh, Xbox sucks. PlayStation. The only reason, but honestly, was MLB The Show because I didn't want to rob myself of the experience of playing the baseball game, every year. The funny thing is, I love Forza. Forza is like the racing franchise that Microsoft has, and it's only on Xbox. And but like I love Forza like this much, and then I love MLB The Show this much. So if I can't get both consoles, I'm sorry, I have to go, with the PlayStation. But now that's changed. So now that's kind of cool, that people don't really have to buy a console based on exactly what game is on it anymore. Both have their, their pros and cons, and we have this great game on both. Okay. The next thing, probably the second biggest new feature is pinpoint pitching, right? Pinpoint. Is that what it's called? It is, right? Pinpoint pitching.
pinpoint pitch, I'm just shaking my head because it's just way too hard to learn.
Okay. See, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about how
Oh
have
my
you?
God.
Okay, first of all, what's your preferred control method on everything? Pitching, batting, fielding.
So I usually play with pitching with analog.
Pure analog.
Pure
Okay.
analog, yeah.
Yep.
I use the strike zone
Okay.
to hit and just fielding pretty much is the bottoms.
Mhm.
I just can't see to put that little line right there on the green. I just always go to the yellow. It's going to happen. I guess I press it too fast.
Same.
I just don't have that patience to just go exactly there to the green right in the middle. It just won't happen with me.
Same.
And point pitching, I got my hands on the beta test back then
Mm.
when February they did it. And I was like, okay, let me see pinpoint pitching. How high can it be? They say it's pretty good, so let's try. And then I guess it was way too complicated in the beta, and they just kind of changed it. And I was like, okay, you have to throw a fastball. Okay, fast. You just move it up and down and just to the right or left, depending where you want to put it. It was easy. Okay, let's throw a sinker. Okay, that's what the problem start right here. Because you gotta do something weird with the analog and then put it up and then put it down the right time. And I tried that for like 3 or 4 days. I was frustrated. I was just going batting practice and just pitching the whole time with pinpoint. I just couldn't get it. So I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's actually the best they have enough for the accuracy of the game. When you're pitching, it's amazing. I'm just gonna give you another shot probably later on when I actually get into it. Like, okay, let me just sit down here for like a whole full week or maybe 2 weeks and just start doing actually pinpoint pitching before I play or run season events or something like that. And I don't want to lose the game
Yeah.
because you know how
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
That can,
actually, Danielle, our buddy Donnie, he's forcing himself to do pinpoint. He's not used to it either, but he's playing like online, and I've seen him get kind of smacked around a little bit here and there because of it. And he's taking it in stride. Like he wants to get better at it. But
it's hard to get. It's like I say, if you practice and practice and practice, you're definitely going to get it. It's just hard at the moment to get because it's something new. However, I feel really comfortable right now with using analog. I'm feeling like it's way better than 20 last year. If I put the ball around the corner, it's going around the corner.
yeah, yeah,
Last year was if I put it in the corner, it was staying right down the middle. It was a home run.
yeah.
It was just that. This year, I'm feeling like okay, I can pitch with analog. If I put the slider outside, it's going really outside. Like I said, they definitely tweak it or did something about it, and it's better. It's better than pinpoint. No, it's not. Pinpoint is definitely the best way to pitch right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know about you how you see that though.
Yeah, okay, so my pinpoint pitching experience was very short. I mean, obviously you load up your game, right? Like we do
Yeah.
every year. And obviously it was the default pinpoint was the default pitching mechanic, and also the meter was the default
Mhm.
fielding. So of course, right off the bat, I give up like a double with the pinpoint because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, what? Give up a double, and now I'm trying to throw the second, and I got the meter, and I'm like overthrow. It's like okay. I gotta go into the settings. So I've messed with it a bit, the pinpoint, and I know what I see what you're saying, and I get what they're saying too. Like that, ultimately, this would be the most accurate way to pitch, which previously was pure analog, right? Like we can all agree. Like pulse pitching, that never felt good for me because I felt like I was leaving it up to the gods to decide where that ball was gonna go because it was doing the thing, and like you really like you don't know, like it can go anywhere, dude. Like you might as well put a blindfold on and just kind of push the button and just
Funny thing, I used to pitch with classic.
oh, class.
Classic means you just press X if you want to throw a fastball or whatever it is, and then you just put it inside. You see the ball, and then that's it pretty much. You
That's
don't
it.
see nothing. You
Wow.
just thinking it's like there's something out there you can watch, and that's it. So me, I was really praying to the God. That was back in 16,
Yeah.
and then I started watching YouTubers, and they always pitching with. I don't know, this is too hard for me. I can do it, but then I started, playing like I said with pinpoint right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna just give it a shot. And I just try for like a week or something like that, playing offline. And I say, okay, this is feel really good. Let's go online. And it was working online, actually.
Yeah.
I know it's going to happen with pinpoint too at one point or another. I know that for sure. But
Right.
as of now, I'm just sticking with analog just to be sure for now, just to get my record up there a little bit. After that, it'll be okay.
Yeah, no, I get it totally. I've been a pure analog guy ever since they introduced it. So I was kind of the guy like Daniel is now, where he's forcing himself. I forced myself to do pure analog, and I feel like over the years, I really understand it. And like even last year, I know there was some wonky stuff, but that's always been going on. It goes both ways, right? Perfect contact swing, and it goes. It's like a But anyways, that's a whole. But I feel like I'm at a place now where I really understand where the ball is going when I'm doing a certain thing. Like even when I miss a little bit, I know exactly where it's gonna be missing. And
Uh,
oftentimes, I'll like if I know I'm playing somebody that knows what they're doing halfway, and I'm trying to, throw a curveball, and I'm a little bit kind of short on it. I'm like, oh, I left it hanging. That one's gone. And I know like before it even gets to the bat, it's gone. Like, oh, I left it hanging. I hope he's not
I,
paying attention. I hope he looked away real quick. But I feel like at least I know why. If I do make mistakes, it feels real. Like it's like, okay, I left that hanging. At least I with the pinpoint. It reminds me a little bit of like, did you ever play like any golf games? Like when you're trying to swing, you
yeah,
have
I did.
it's a
And
little bit like that. I could never get it like straight. Like I could never do the straight swing on like all the golf games. So I the pinpoint feels like that to me. But like you said, it's probably just like a muscle memory that once it clicks, right?
once the click, it's going to be perfectly
Yeah.
fine. I also leave picture hanging in the mirror, and before even I just put the fence up again, I say, "Yep, that's it. That ball is gone," and the ball is gone because I know exactly like that was a mistake. So like,
Yeah. Do you ever on your way back up, because you already know, oh shit, I left it hanging? Do you, but
yes.
but do you ever like go all the way to the right or something, hoping that it'll just be like a bad ball?
I don't do that. I just say like, oh, I just missed this point. It was inside, in, and then up inside. You say right down the middle. Say let's just pray he just don't hit the ball out. But
Let's pray he blinks right at that moment.
I'm like, okay. Oh my God, no, that boy is gone. Boom, that boy is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just out of here. It's just away.
That's
And
that's
that
it.
and that's in real life, if you actually leave a hanging slide against Juan Soto, real life, he's gonna crush it.
Right.
You know, or Tatis Jr. or Mike Trout, he's just gonna crush it. They're not going to forget about it.
And you know
And
what though? That honestly is what I love about MLB The Show specifically. I feel of all the sports games, this is the closest to the real sport as far as like that. Like you make a mistake, you're gonna pay for it. And it's just like that in real life, right? You throw a meatball right down the middle to Mike Trout, he's gonna crush it. He's you know what I mean? He's a Hall of
he,
Fame. He's a professional hitter. He's gonna crush it. And the same thing happens in this game, and I love that. Like I feel like, and not just that, like to add on to that, the strategies involved. Like you're pitching the same way you would be pitching in real life. To where,
yeah,
like, look at NBA 2K for example, and like not to bash on NBA 2K, but when you're watching people play like the park mode or whatever it's called, um, does that look like basketball even anymore?
no, there's no
It's
basketball.
not,
No, that's
right. And FIFA the same thing. And I love FIFA, but that's not soccer. I don't know what it is, but it's fun. But it's not soccer. At least baseball. Like if I throw three balls in a row as a pitcher, just like in real life, guess what? I'm gonna have to find the strike zone here, or just
just walk
flip, or
by.
just walk him, right, depending on the situation. But I feel
Right.
like the situational strategy and tactics are exactly like in the real sport. If you know what you're doing, obviously you're gonna run into somebody that's gonna hit you 14 times in a row, right? Or steals every
Sometimes.
base. That's always been a thing. And I don't, you're gonna run into trolls, but if you're playing the game to win and you're playing it like you should,
Yeah.
it's very accurate to the real sport, in my opinion.
I You're always gonna run to some throw who just bond cheese and then just steal the base. So as soon as I see his team, he has everybody who can actually run over 90. I know it's gonna be a bone game and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
which is okay because it's part of the game. It's supposed to be done. Maybe not. I actually did it last year for a video. Actually, I want to just win everybody out there with 99 speed if I could over 90, just to throw people. It's just for a video.
Yeah.
But I just not go with my main squad online and play like that way. I used to like to hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah.
That's it, pretty much. And my team, nobody run. They all can hit. Actually, bomb. That's what I want from guys.
That's me too. I agree, and like I wouldn't have fun playing like that, even if I won. Even if I win more than I lose, that wouldn't be fun for me because now I feel like I'm not even playing the game. Like I'm just like
Pretty much like the same with 2K people play on the park. They always find a move who is like a glitch.
Right.
And on fade, they shoot and boom. That's it. That's the whole game.
Dude, don't even get me started. I see like 7'2" guys doing like crazy Allen Iverson crossovers and fadeaway threes from the half court line. I'm like, dude, like, okay, what is this? Like, what are we doing?
Never happened in basketball. You never seen Chad doing a crossover.
Right.
He only shoot 1 3 his all career. Like,
yeah,
that's no real. MLB The Show definitely is one of the realest game out there. Sport game.
I agree. So next, I got some notes here. I have a cheat sheet here that may have been sent to me by Big Papi, but fielding animations. What have you noticed as far as fielding animations?
Actually, they did work on it. Last year, the fielding animation were like bad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we used to play ball off the wall, and the guy was just taking his sweet time to throw the ball, and it was the 9th inning. That was the winning run, and you just want to throw the ball to the play. And the dude was like, okay, yeah, no problem about it. Just going to throw the ball to the cutoff, man, and then, wait later on. And that actually this year, they actually got way better animations. Playing off the wall, that's really important because, like, you used to see the guy didn't run after the ball. There was only jogging after the ball. I said, like, yo, run after the ball, run, you want to jog, just run at it. And they didn't do it. This year, they actually, as of right now, there's really good so far. I don't have any complaint whatsoever. I hope they don't touch it. Or if they touch it just for the good and not for the bad.
Yeah.
Because, so as of right now, it's really great. And also the new home run indicator, when you can roll the home run, that's actually good. Somebody did roll a home run against me, actually, on one of the BR games I played. So I was like, oh my God, really?
But it's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
I think you were in the stream when I robbed that home run with Ken Griffey, right?
Yes, it was with Griffey. I was like, wait a minute, history play? Oh, that's what history playing. Because I said it was with Griffey. I said he was in the right field, I believe, right? On the center field. I know you robbed it.
I robbed it. It was, I think he's in center field, but it was towards right field. I had him,
right. Yeah. It was Texas, actually. We were playing on the computer. So,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Like, exactly with the boys. Last year, you only had like the white dot, and they've
for the last few years it's been like that, right? It was really hard to. I've robbed maybe like 3 home runs in the last 5 years, like, so it was that hard. It was that hard.
I brought one last year it was an event game. I was with Mickey Mantle, and it was the last inning. The guy was base loaders, I believe, and he just hit it out. I was like, oh, can we rob this? If we don't rob it, we lose the game. And I just robbed it. I was like, wow. And roll it. That was amazing. I definitely had the clip somewhere where I was like, wow, that's amazing. But that's one of every 20 boy, maybe I can roll.
Yeah.
Because
and that's how it should be, right? That's how it should be. But yeah.
Two people running around in circles, like, okay, this boy is going or he's just trolling. Let's see what happens now. And that was it pretty much. That's how people does.
Yeah. So as far as me, like fielding animations, I've noticed a little bit more sense of urgency, like you were saying, especially in the outfield. The outfielders on gap balls and balls off the wall. I've seen a little bit more urgency. I've still had a couple incidents where I'm throwing the ball back to the cutoff man, and the cutoff man kind of, but that's like maybe twice I've seen that so far. But again, oftentimes you look at it and it's like, would it have been a close call anyways? You know what I mean? So maybe it's part of the game. Just they know already the guy's gonna be safe no matter what. But in the moment, right? You're like, no, let's throw the friggin' ball, do it.
But that's also like in real life, and that's what I like. The fielding attributes, they're actually really accurate. If a guy only had a 54 fielding, it's not that great in real life. It's not going to be great in the game.
True.
You just can't diamond fielding because if you put, like, let's say Nelson Cruz out there on the right field, you know you're giving up a few runs or a few hits because it's just not going to run the same way my draw runs a fly ball.
That's
He
right.
only had like 7 or 10 speed, you know, and like it's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why he's at the age, you know.
Mhm.
Put it out there, you're going to risk it out, and that's great. That's the real thing about the game. You actually take risks out there.
I agree. I agree. What do you think?
We,
What do you think of the new the fly ball kind of not animation but the fly ball indicator?
I turn it off.
Oh,
That
you turned
was
it off?
turn it off. I just put the user ball, the white door they always have. I put it because that was really confusing to me. I didn't know if I had to put myself in the middle, in the corner, or in the or in the other corner because I had no idea. So I just put the white door. I know it has to be exactly on the white door, so
Yeah,
it's perfect. You know,
I'm with you.
people. I have seen a lot of people actually like saying like, okay, maybe some people be like, okay, I don't care about it. I'm just gonna do it and whatever. But for me, I would have to be like, know exactly where the ball is at. Because if I see that line out there, let's say I'm playing a run season game, you know how it is, it's a one run game or whatever it is, and because I know it's going to happen to me, I'm just going to stay on the middle. I put myself in the corner, and the ball's going by me. I'm going to be really angry about it
Yeah.
because it
Yep.
was my fault because I could have turned it off, or I just didn't know exactly where it was, and then that's it for me, pretty much.
Yep.
So I just turn it off and just put the white dot. By the way, you can actually do it, people. If you are there, you don't know how to do it.
I
It's
didn't know
called
that. I didn't know that. So I'm one of those people that has lost at least 3 games because of
really.
I've left it on. I've just tried to understand it. It doesn't the first time I seen it, like, you hop into the game and somebody hits a fly ball and it's like I really didn't understand it at all. At all.
Yeah,
Like
me neither.
it
I was
made
like,
no sense to me because it's like oval or like a
yeah,
long, and that to me never made sense because like the ball is round, everything's round, like it was always, so and it has definitely cost me a few times where I actually played it like the old way, like you're saying, stand
mhm.
exactly in the middle of that blue thing. But
And you just
but you actually have to track the ball. You have to look at the shadows and stuff because the ball may land on the edge of this little, and that's a few times it did that where just I'm like, oh, I got it, 3 outs, and it would just go bloop, drop, and two runs score, and I'm like, no. So that's
that's the reason why I turn it off. So you can just go to Fearden,
okay.
just look at ball indicator, I believe, and then just put it. I don't remember what it is right now, but you just can go
Change
out
it.
there and just change it. And then you always going to have your white doors always, which for me is perfect. I say I don't if they want to put something else, great for the people who want to, play like that. Great for you. For me, I'm just gonna keep playing the way I'm just be an old school guy.
Yeah.
So I will always play that way.
And you know what? That's another thing that I thought was really great about MLB The Show. Like all sports games, you can sort of change the what each button does,
Yeah,
but MLB The Show, you can fundamentally change the way you play it. I mean, like the actual mechanics, right? Like we were talking about pinpoint pitching and pure analog, completely different mechanics on the sticks. And like
yeah,
I think it's the only game that I can think of where you can actually change the mechanics to your liking. Like FIFA, for example, you have a pass button, a shoot button, a through ball, a high pass, and you can switch those around, but it's still all the same. It's just a button that does one thing, right? Like, so that I always thought that was really cool that they let you play the game however you feel the most comfortable with. You know what I mean?
actually hit. I seen people hit him with R2 or L2.
Yeah.
I mean, usually my memory is also just X the whole time, not even square, just
Same,
X.
same.
If I put it to R2 or L2, it'll be like I'm confused right now
Yeah.
because I'm going to throw the ball.
Or pure
So
analog. I mean, you could do pure analog.
I never tried that. I
Yeah.
just never tried that. It just seems like I see some YouTuber doing it, and he was saying that this is way too weird. I don't remember who it was, but it was just way too weird.
Yeah.
Just to, you don't know when to actually swing at it if you're going to swing at it at the
Yeah.
same time.
I think it made sense when it first came out. I tried it. It made sense because a bat is like a stick. The only stick you have on a controller is your control stick. Pulling it back and I get it. I get why they did it. It just never felt natural to me. I've always been
Uh,
the X guy too, just X. And
just
still to this day, I normally, I mean, occasionally I'll do a power swing if if I'm like in a challenge or I need to get a home run and I'm in like 3-0 count or something, I'll be like, screw it, I'll do a power swing. But like 99% of the time, I'm still just X, honestly.
Just it's way too easy for me.
Hmm.
You know, in the time you go from square to X in this game, reaction time is way too important.
I
So
agree.
you, if you want to get after a fastball, let's say Nolan Ryan is pitching, you know it's going to throw 102, 103, and if you in your memory already you are used to hit X, so you know it's going to be right way. Now you go to a square, you moving your finger a
Yeah.
little bit more, and it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
like it's not a big deal. Actually, it is a big deal.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
it's split seconds. I mean, I when I do square, when I do power swing, I commit to power swing before the pitch is even thrown. Like I'm like, okay,
us,
and it's not good because right, like your PCI goes, it gets smaller basically. I mean, you really got to be on it, right, when you're doing the power swing. It just never felt right. So we're almost approaching the hour mark, but we got a couple more things to touch on. I definitely want to talk about the new menu, like the new display, the way it looks. Way it feels? Because I know I've heard a lot of people talk about that. What do you think about the menu structure?
way too confusing. It's really confusing. I'm
Mhm.
lost. I don't know who came up with that idea out there to put that menu out there. I understand they want to change it because they pretty much had the same from 19 and 20. They just tweak a little bit. And okay, you want to change the menu, but just make it a little easy for everybody.
Yeah.
Because this new Xbox player coming in and they're so confused for even it's confused for me. I've been playing forever. It's definitely gonna be confusing for them. And I spent like one day, I spent like 2 hours actually looking where to exchange my showdown butcher because I had no idea what it was a showdown thing.
Yeah.
And in 20, going to exchange, showdown, boom, there it is. I'm doing right away. It was easy. This year, I don't know why did they change it that way. It's just way too complicated. And I hear a lot of people saying the same thing too.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, it's new, and I think it's not just new, like it's new compared to all other games. Like I feel like there's like a phase, like certain, like a couple years where the menus in multiple games look similar, like they have the same structure, like tiles was a big thing, right?
That would
and
be
and most games like 2K, FIFA, and MLB The Show, they all had tiles for a long time. Now it's like drop down, and it's like a mind fuck in a way. Like you got to retrain your brain because you're not used to seeing drop downs in a video game. Like you're used
no.
to seeing it on your PC with your mouse, drop
That's
downs, right? But you're not used to seeing it and like that alone, just the drop downs, totally screw. Like because like you just scroll down on those, boop, 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 and then you scroll back up, and then it'll close it, and then I'm like, wait, where am I? What did I just do?
and same when I'm playing maybe the moments,
Mm-hmm.
instead of hitting me right there on the moments, if I have to play like 3 or 4 moments at the same time, it just take me back out to the
Yeah,
whole to the menu, to the Diamond Dynasty menu. And like I gotta go back in again.
yeah.
Last year it was like, okay, you finish the moment, it's just gonna leave you right there.
They're linear, right? They were linear. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I noticed that.
If you want to get out of there or you want to keep doing all the moments, maybe. But this year's the same. Same with playing BR2. It just take me back to the whole menu and
Right.
just that made no sense. Like I said, I had no idea when I first saw like what is this?
Mm. No,
So
I agree with you on that 100%. I noticed that too. I'm like,
it's ancient. Maybe now, maybe say okay, everybody's gonna get used to it at some point. Probably yes, we're gonna get used to it. But as of right now, it's a little bit like, hmm, okay, let's see
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
As far as the look, I personally I like the loading screens. I like the right I because I like that they've always been good with like blending in classic historic moments. I always liked how they have I don't know if they have it this year with the audio, like they always had like audio calls from like exciting plays and like the MLB. I don't know if they do it. Do they still have that?
To have it, I just haven't figured out where they are so I can put it on my menu, like on my team, like I had it last year.
Yeah.
I got to go again on the menu and see where it is because I had no idea. Because I definitely want to put some calls out there when I strike somebody out, when I hit a home run. They had it last year; it was easy to find. Maybe this year it's in the same place. I just gotta see where exactly it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this year actually the menu is great the way it is. design. The design. It feels like actually you playing on a PlayStation 5. So it's a new thing.
Yeah.
So the way it is designed, maybe is something we can talk about later. But the way it feels, you say, wow, this is something new. This is a new game. This is
Yeah.
definitely appears.
Yeah, I agree. I also like when I face somebody online. I just like the general look of their gamer tag up in the right corner. It looks great. Like to me, it looks
Yeah,
good. It shows what console they're on. It shows their banner or whatnot and their name and stuff. I really like that. It looks clean. Like I really, it's not just a name like a gamer tag. Like so many games just have text.
actually always doing the graphic design thing. They actually do amazing with the car designs.
I agree.
Car,
Yeah,
they always bring it with the car art. They really fire the car arts right there.
I agree. I agree. Have you messed with the stadium creator at all?
No, I haven't messed with this tech creator.
No.
Unfortunately, I'm still on the PS4. I
Oh,
haven't
okay.
get, I haven't got my hands on a PS5 yet.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's hard to get over here. Every time it's on sale, it just go right away like
Yeah.
a minute.
Yeah.
So for me right now, I'm just suffering because I was definitely want to get a PS5
Sure.
just because of the Stadium Creator.
Yeah.
Just because I would love to have a PS5 and get a Stadium Creator. I'm not going to lie, but I know it's going to happen sometime
Oh
this
yeah.
year. I know get a PS5. It's gonna happen. But let's see you. How are you messing up with the Stadium Creator yet so far?
I have not created a stadium yet. I gotta be honest. I do want to get into that at some point. I will say I've faced a few teams that have put a stadium together. Like this is what I've noticed. Either some people are really great at it, like wow, like holy cow. Like my buddy Marcus, he actually created his old high school stadium. And he did like a did you see
It
that
was
on Twitter? Marcus.
that you retweet, right? Yeah, I
Yes.
did. Yeah,
Amazing,
amazing.
right? Then he did like a flyover with music, and it was awesome. He did a whole like the whole production. Now that's great, like holy cow. But then I've seen other ones where there's literally like a monkey in the outfield that's like suspended from an elephant, and then there's like a black bear, and I've seen like these crazy monstrosities, and I don't even know what dimensions these ballparks are. They'll have like a 320-foot right field, and then the left field goes like 470. It's absurd.
You can see it right there. It's a little troll right there. But actually, I was worried about it when they actually say about Stadium Creator because I know this community. I know exactly when you put. They always want Stadium Creator in this game.
Yeah.
When they had the MVP, I guess, the game had it back in 05 or 06. There were some questionable stadiums right there that you can have like a 500-foot left field line
Yeah.
and like only like 390 wall on the center field, like 200 full left field. So it was like a real throw stadium. So I was like, I think I know they're going to like figure out maybe and say like you can play online with this and
Mhm.
make some regulations about it. So I was actually saying that okay, thank God they actually figured out and it was great. They actually put some regulations on it, like you cannot just be a wall like 1,000-foot wall because if you put on the game, people are gonna do it. Believe me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. Like they'll put a 200-foot right field and then just
Yeah.
stack their lineup just with with lefties only, for example. Stuff like people will do it. They will exploit anything they can
Yes,
do.
I was really say like, okay, well, they didn't do it. That's amazing. That's why you have to play like a normal war online. If you want to do it offline with your friend, you can just do it whenever you want to do it.
And that's cool too, right? Because that lets you do like kind of crazy stuff.
That's great. That's amazing when you can do it with your friend. Like I say, Stadium Creator is a big win on
Mhm.
anybody's part. We have been asking for it forever. For people who still have PlayStation 4, like me, are still a little angry that they only do it for PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
But I understand why. Maybe the PlayStation 4 system is just not the newest one, so they just
Sure.
couldn't make it. So I understand. Like I say, it's great, amazing so far.
Great addition. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, so we're going just a shade over an hour. This was pretty good, I think. And we pretty much touched
that
on
was amazing.
everything.
That was pretty much everything we wanted. That was pretty much amazing.
Yeah. Any closing comments? What do you think on our inaugural episode here?
I would just say one thing to SDS: don't touch hitting. Don't touch it so far. Please, last year they touched it like 3 days after the game came out, and it was just a disaster for the whole year.
Yeah.
So far, right now, you still got people coming in playing. Not everybody's going to play on Legend or Hall of Fame. I used to play in Hall of Fame. Right now, I haven't played a run season game yet. I'm just trying to build my team. The hitting feels great so far. So just keep it that way. Don't touch it unless it's broke.
Yeah.
Don't fix it unless it's broke. Pretty
I
much that's
I think I agree with that. I have hitting problems that are beyond fixing from Sony. Like Sony can't fix my hitting. When I know why I'm not hitting the ball. You know what I mean? I mean, that has nothing to do with the mechanic, and I honestly think that's the number one, like, not right, but that's the number one frustration people are gonna have, not being able to hit the ball just because they're not patient. Like, and that's just the nature of the game, right? But people coming in from Xbox, I get it because I've played this entire time, and I'm not patient. And when I really put my mind to it, I am, and that's kind of, So to anybody that's listening to this that maybe coming in from Xbox, you're gonna want to swing at everything. I know because I do it. But just kind of try to train you mentally, and just kind of know what situation you're in, what counts you're in, what's likely to come. And then the other thing I've always noticed when I play online opponents, if I'm just messing around and not paying attention, I'm gonna lose. But if I really study my opponent, you know, that's the beauty. Like when you're playing ranked seasons, it's a 9 inning game. You may not get a hit the first 3 innings, but
that's me.
right? That's very common. Like oftentimes I don't get a hit through 3 innings. But if I had paid enough attention in those 3 innings, you start to see a pattern of what type of player you're playing, what type of pitcher you're playing. Obviously, it depends on the actual pitcher on the mound, but then it also depends on the person controlling that pitcher, right? I mean, there's gonna be tendencies, and I always like that's the number one recommendation I have to anybody that's new. Like, really pay attention to your opponent, what they're doing, mostly pitching wise. Hitting wise too. Obviously, I mean, you want to if they're swinging at everything, hey, you don't need to go in the strike zone. But
No.
but that's one thing I always like. If I remind myself to do that, I usually do much better than when I just kind of pick up and play.
But pitching wise, definitely that was me last year. Always the first 2, 3 innings, I was starting core, I couldn't hit nothing. I was like, okay, it's a 4 inning. I already know what he's throwing next time.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're gonna throw, and I'm gonna wait for it then.
Right.
And that's it. I had like a lot of games like that. I didn't after the first 2, 3 innings. Sometimes the 4 inning, but starting the 5th inning, I was like, okay, it's gonna throw the sinker inside here, the first pitch for a strike. It's gonna be okay. You can take 1, 2 strike. You always have 3 strike to work with it.
Yes.
Be patient. If you're patient on the play, you let your opponent throw pitches over and over, it's gonna make a mistake sooner or later.
Mhm.
Everybody's gonna make a mistake. Now, if you throw it right down the middle, if you don't hit it, that's on you then.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely gonna make a mistake in the game. You just can't miss it.
Yeah. And there's different pitching styles, just like in real life, right? Like, I don't know about you. Personally, I'm much more in the strike zone pitcher. I really like to hit the corners. I like to paint the corners. I never really go right down the middle. I try to always, when I go right down the middle, it's a mistake pitch. It's because I left something hanging. But I don't, I try to paint the corners. That's kind of my game. And rarely do I go really far outside the strike zone, unless it's 0-2 count or something. I'm probably gonna give him a curve in the dirt, maybe, or a low change up that's just outside the strike zone. But generally speaking, I like to try to stay around the strike zone. What about you? Like, what style of pitcher are you?
I like to study my opponent first. I'm playing run season, like you say. I'm going to usually start with some sinker inside and see, and then I'm going to throw outside, just ball maybe in the dirt, and see if he shakes. If he shakes the first 2 pitches, say I'm going back again. He need to actually show me that he just not going to swing at that pitch.
Yeah.
If I see that my opponent is patient, like, okay, he's making me throw like 20 pitches every inning, be like, okay, we have a problem here.
Yeah.
We just gotta pray this guy just don't hit it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to see how your opponent. If you see the guy just can't hit the fastball because he's late on it, just throw the fastball. He's just not gonna hit it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you throw the fastball and then you change to the slider and he just crush it.
Yeah.
You'll be like, he can hit fastball, he can hit slider. Okay, I'm going to change that next time. But it's just like that. You're going to make mistakes on the game every time. It's perfectly fine. You're going to learn. There's always another day to fight for.
That's the best words of advice right there, because
It's another day.
that's how baseball goes, right? You go from
You're going
hero
to
to goat back to hero within a matter of 3 days, right? And it's like that's just how it goes.
It's how it goes. You're going to lose more games than you're going to win. And it's just the way it is sometimes.
Yep.
I say some top play, it's okay. They barely have back game. But even then, they also have back game. They just can hit the ball. Sometimes I feel like I log in and they're like, today, yes, I can hit anything. Sometimes I feel like, wow, I can't hit nothing today.
Yeah.
Maybe I right down the middle. I don't know why. It's just like that.
Yeah. I totally agree. What my least favorite moment, or like my least favorite feeling, is when I'm playing somebody online, when I know they know they have me figured out. Like they know everything. They have me. Like, do you ever feel that? Like you face somebody that's just, I mean, let's just say it. He's better than me or better than you, and you go 3, 4, 5 innings, and like you were saying, every at bat is like a battle, like a 12 pitch at bat. And you just know it's not going to end well, because this guy, he's in my head. He knows, like, and then I try to like trick myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something that I never do. And then boom, he crashes, and I'm like, this guy just is in my head.
That's annoying. That was the first game of run season. The dude actually beat me 3-2. I lost that game. He had a better team, but he wasn't like the greatest player. I don't want to say he was better than me, but he was actually fighting every single at bat. He made me throw like 80 pitches in like 3 innings.
Wow.
And the game was nothing. But like, this is unbelievable. He was fouling everything. He was just like, this guy has the eye of the tiger right now.
Yeah.
Because he anything, and I just don't know what to pitch anymore. I said, yo, right down the middle. Whatever happens. Sometimes you gotta do that. Just right down the middle,
Right.
Then you see.
Well, if he's
Because
hitting everything on the corners, then you might as well maybe down the middle worked,
that's for people, that's how people pitch. They just pitch on the corner. Sinker in, outside, inside, a little high sometimes, slide. So for me, when I go and pitch online, my pitcher needs to have a sinker and slide. It just needs to, because if I go somewhere with a curveball, a fastball, and a changer, and a two seams, that game is over for me. I know right away.
Yeah.
So for me, it has to be a fastball. It doesn't have to be 102, but if you can be a little faster sometimes, amazing. But for example, this new car, the Pedro Martinez car, is amazing so far.
Yeah.
No, I know he can throw 97, 98, but he also had a changer, and he got a slider out, and the sinker in, the curveball in the dirt too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I'm looking on the picture right now.
Yeah.
Those two pitches are definitely has to be top for me.
I agree. Pedro has been amazing, because he like you said, he has a great variety of pitches and different movement.
Different
movement. I mean, in, out, down. So you can really go everywhere with him. I love pitchers like that, where where you can really go everywhere. Then there's the other pitches where you're just like, oh, I wish he had just a change up. I wish he had a change up. Just give me a change up with this guy. Because that's another factor to the game, like the velocity, like change of speed, right? That's something. It's not just location; it's also change of speed, right? I mean, if you can throw a 98-mile-an-hour four-seamer and you hit them high and tight with that, and they, and maybe they're on it. Well, now you hit them with the changeup, and they're going to be way out in front of it, maybe.
Way up front the game and on the ball, and that's actually what I'm looking for balance between pitches. Can throw 102, but he can also have like an 80 miles an hour curveball. Perfect, because he now know, okay, I throw two fastball. He'd be like, okay, he might just throw another one. I said, no, I'm going curveball in the door and see if you chase it.
Yep.
If I'm going back to the fastball because I know you can hit it. But like I said, it's just different type of people. Every people you play online is going to be different than the other one you play.
100%.
It's just the way it is. Sometimes you find people who can hit anything, no matter where you put the ball. It's just the way it is.
That's
so
right.
Like, better than me, What can I do? I just matched up with the wrong person today.
Yep.
Go back out.
Well said. So that was a pitching advice 101 with Big Papi, the former pitcher, in his right. I mean,
yeah.
So if anybody knows, it's you. So I think we'll wrap the show up for now. I think that was a pretty good first episode. What do you think?
first episode. I had a lot of fun. I said, we should definitely do this week.
Likewise, likewise. So we're gonna upload this on a few different platforms. We haven't talked about that yet. Maybe we should have, but if you're listening to this, make sure to like the show. Visit us, subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, and we appreciate you guys listening. And I'm looking forward to episode 2 next.
Definitely.
All right, take care.
All right. Take care.